today. You want me to carry the blower?
Put it up here. Put it up there. All this and do that.
I can't do both at the same time, so I was trying.
Should run that way, but
That way? Okie dokie. Can you push it up here?
Okay, today we're going to talk about priorities and what are the priorities for us as far as placement and safety and security and all the things that kind of go into what we're trying to do, and then priorities for the customer, what they're trying to do as far as aesthetics and, you know, making room for all the customers or all the visitors and all the party goers and all the kids, and just making things look nice and seem nice and work together,
Would have been better.
you know, the way that they should be. Now, this is kind of a prime example, and I'm going to preface this whole thing by I have permission from the homeowner to show the video. The reason I am setting it here is I spoke when I got there. I knocked on the door, and a young lady came to the door, and she turned back to the homeowner and said, "Hey, party guy's here." And she said, "Yeah, just tell him to put it in the backyard." So she showed me which side to go around. I went around, and when I get to the backyard, it is almost like a bowl. It has slopes on every side, and it is very flat, kind of right in the middle, close to where the deck is. So as a party rental provider, I find the most level spot. I back it up as far as I can. You can see it's kind of going uphill on the backside just a little bit. But I wanted to give them a little bit of room right there in the front because I didn't want it right in the door. So this was the optimal spot. Now, she said just put it in the backyard, and I'm making the assumption that she wants it in the optimal spot of the backyard. I want to let you guys know that this is I call it a veteran's mistake because no matter how long you're in the business, or at least me, no matter how long I'm in the business, I continue to make the mistake that I think that I know, and you don't. And so this part of it is 100% my fault. I didn't want to sound like that I was putting it on the homeowner because, honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't know what their plans are. I kind of know what I'm doing, and I kind of can see what else is going on in the yard while I'm setting up if it's there. But for the most part, I don't know what they have planned. So tip number one is always have whoever's in charge back there showing you exactly where you want it, even if it is a small backyard, even if it does seem like there's only one obvious place for the unit to go. You need to make sure that you get with the whoever's in charge and let them make the decisions, or at least help you make the decisions, or you help them make the decision. What is kind of the best compromise between what is safe and what is aesthetic and what will work all the way around for, you know, what they're doing with their party. And it only makes sense. It literally, I kind of fall back on this rule, and it kind of attaches to everything that we do. What would you want if you were in the other, role in this? If you were the party planner, or if you were the person throwing a shindig at your place, and someone was coming to your house and they were setting up an event, what would you want? How would you want them to treat you? How would you want the equipment to be? How would you want, the entire experience? So it looks, when you see me here, you're going to see a little bit of frustration on me, but you're going to also see I keep checking with her and saying, what, is this not right? Is this not good? Because I could see that she has a different idea, and she's trying to be she's trying to be cordial with me, and she's trying to, allow me to, do what I need to do. But at the same time, she has a plan in her head, and you could tell she has a plan in her head, and that plan does not include my bounce house in the center of her party. And that makes sense. And if you put the shoe on the other foot, you could see that that doesn't make sense at all. Sorry?
I was saying I probably wanted to position it a little bit further. Can we go any further?
Down the hill, it starts to slope really bad.
It does. You know what? This is fine. Only thing I was concerned about because we're bringing a grill down and I didn't want the kids, but that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. It's just, if it slopes and they get to one side, everything starts to lean it over.
Lean it over.
That was the flattest spot. I tried to go back a little bit, but it's still kind of lean.
Okay.
Work?
Yeah, it's gonna have to. But I see what you're saying about the slope. So if we did it on that hill over there.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that. Yeah, back here, this is pretty much. Well, you're gonna be on the porch, though, right?
Yep, and we got like tables and stuff that's gonna be out here because it's like a field day. So we were gonna. Oh boy. Is it not any way I can put it over here? Like.
I can do it this way. I think. If I point it up the hill.
Okay.
Will that work?
That would be much better. Yeah. As far back as you can go and over there is good. I have an extension cord if we need one.
I've got four.
Okay. Sorry about that. It didn't take you any time to get it up. This is where I'm sorry that part. She said it didn't take me any time to get it up. But it's funny how people outside looking in, the amount of work doesn't seem like a lot, but obviously the frustration I'm feeling is that, this is a bounce house. This is supposed to be 10 minutes and I'm supposed to be moving on and it's turning into something else. But this is the part of the video where you could see the dance starts, where
we have given in to her, and we're going to move this piece, over to the side some, and she's going to try at this point to get as much as she can. And it is not until, I kind of point things out to her that she can see that there's another side to this argument, and it involves safety, and it involves, liability and responsibility in the whole 9 yards. So you'll see, we move it, and she wants a little more, and then she wants a little more, and then eventually she gets to the point where it is almost against the fence, which is a really big no. We can't do that either. So anyway, here we go.
Go back a little more.
Yeah, as far back as we can go.
Go over.
Yeah.
So we gotta go around, come back around this. Yeah.
Like, to be honest, what would really work is like as far back to where those trees are as we can go. Only because we have tables we setting up and it's like a field day. So we got games and stuff. Yeah. And then make that first right once you pass the Wendy's and that first step and you're in that parking lot. And you can pull right up to the door to get your to-go order. Like as far back by the trees as we can.
That's about as far as I can go, Will.
So with that flat behind you,
It starts sloping. Right here, it starts sloping back down. That's about as good as it's gonna get.
okay. And where she's standing at, where she's standing at is sloping.
Yeah, maybe you need to come down here.
Yeah, then angle it, cause I need as much as this as I can get. Maybe we went too big. So,
Did you put some of your games and stuff on the side yard,
yeah,
maybe?
but I'm saying if I angle it like this, in this spot, will that work?
Literally, when they jump on it and they push against the wall because they're leaning, the whole thing's gonna come over
Yeah,
on top
I
of
get
them.
that part, but we're on flat now, right?
Well, we're fairly flat, yeah.
So if I turn
Alright,
this
we'll
just
try it.
diagonal,
We'll try it and let's look and see
Yeah.
how much angle's on it.
okay. There we go. What we look like? Are we sloping?
Pretty sloping to the back, but
Yeah.
if you're gonna sign off on it, accept it, then whatever works best for you.
As long as you're anchoring it down, right?
Well, I mean, if they fall, they're gonna fall
Backwards.
right against the wall and onto the ground, so.
How about that? I think that's a little bit better, huh? It got worse?
What about if I put it on the side? Can I put the bounce house on the sidewalk here?
Like here?
On the side of the house?
Like right here? Property line.
It's grass.
Because if we
Black
could-
grass right here. Your neighbor, they own about the other side? Can I do it up there?
Right where I asked for at first,
Sorry?
right where we was talking about first, and here.
No, I thought you were talking about up there. I'm talking about up there where it's flat. Up here.
Yeah, it's okay right there. We're gonna leave it there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just gonna have to work. And we'll take the games this way, the sack races and stuff like that.
I mean, there's some room. You can do some games up there
Yeah,
on the side.
so that's what we'll do. We'll just use this longer part. Sorry about that, guys,
problem.
but I appreciate it.
Okay, two things happened here. I drew the line and explained to her that we have entered into an area where it is less safe than absolutely flat ground. So she has an understanding of that. I've also offered her options that were different, and they were, away from where the stuff was, so that it was a better option. And finally, I explained to her that she's signing paperwork and she's signing, liability, and she's signing responsibility for not only the unit but the placement and the use of the unit and the whole 9 yards. So once that part starts shifting into her mind, I'm able to bring her back into the reality of, wait a minute, there's more to just the fact that there's an aesthetic and I need room for a sack race and all the other things that are kind of going through her mind. So she has this understanding that it's more to it there. So again, she has her idea, I have my idea. We kind of met in the middle. And what I'm trying to explain to her is, and you can't really see it, the back of it, and it's not that big of a grade. It's not. And I was able to keep it off of the fence to where she wanted it, where it got even worse. But what I was trying to explain to her is, if you put a bounce house on a slope, and the kids naturally gravitate towards the lower end of that slope because of the gravity, they're going to bounce, and they're going to bounce towards wherever that's going. What will happen is I'll have all of the kids on the back of that unit, and we all know what happens when you put all of the weight on one bounce house. It's not that the bounce house is going to flip over, because it is staked down. She's correct about that. But the walls, even though you have the correct amount of pressure and everything is doing, they're just not designed to have 300 pounds worth of kids pushing against it in the same direction. And what will happen is the unit will fall over. Now, we've seen bounce houses that don't have the correct amount of pressure, and what they do is it only takes one kid to do this, and it kind of falls over. But with this piece, what will happen, because where she wanted it, the slope was going to be so drastic that all the kids eventually would end up on that. And the bad thing is that there was a solid fence on that end, and those kids would wind up, pushing the wall of the unit sideways and hitting that fence if I continued to go in the direction that she wanted. So safety was absolutely a concern. So, there you have it. And look, I got video and I got pictures and I got everything that I needed to make sure that, we were at an understanding. She signed a contract. The event went fine. There was no problems. Nobody got hurt. There was nothing. It didn't tip over. There was no problems. But I did wanted you guys to see the whole argument on both sides of what's going on. Again, she's not wrong. She has an idea of her party. And I'm not wrong. I have idea of safety. We just have to kind of find a place that meets in the middle. And sometimes that takes a little bit of persuasion. And the persuasion is that, there is a certain amount of risk that you can take. And then it gets to the point to where it is unsafe. And you just don't go beyond that. And once they understand that, we work around all the other ideas. So there you have it. This was the setup, and and again we're at 20 minutes now. So what should have been a 10-minute setup took twice as long, but that's not a problem. I'm not mad at her. I'm glad that we were able to do it and get everything done the way that we should have it done, that her party was a success, and that, everything worked out good.